So it's April 2020 and everybody knows there's a lot going on in the world right now. So there's no place to go shoot unless you live close to some outdoors like we've got here in the Front Range of Colorado. Outside of Colorado Springs, up by Woodland Park, Colorado. And dynamics have changed a little bit. I live down at 6,000 feet down in Colorado Springs. Up here I'm about 9,000 feet. It's a little chilly today, it's in the 40s, but it feels amazing. And then in a little bit I'll show you there is a lot of snow up here. There's a big, huge thing of snow right here. There's snow all over the place. And so given that, I can't get out to the distances I wanted to get out to today. I wanted to shoot at 100, test some of my reloads here, and just checking for pressure, things like that. But looks like I'm going to have to settle for, let's see here, 70 yards. And so that can still give you the data that you need. Don't get all frustrated if you can't find some place to get out and test to your optimal distance. If you're testing for pressure signs and things like that, honestly, that can be done at any range. At 75 yards, 70 yards, I'm not going to get a 100-yard group out of it, but I'm going to get a tight group. And I'll have a good indication when the ranges do open back up, or when this snow melts and I can get back up here, that's a good load to at least continue with. And so today, shooting the Ruger American Predator in 308, 18-inch barrel. I can't remember the muzzle brake. It actually came off an AR-10. Bushnell Engage 2.5 to 10 with their MOA reticle. Pretty nice scope. I actually like this. It's got push-pull turrets. Does not have a zero stop, so you do have to account for that. However, being a shorter barreled 308, I've got 15 MOA dialed into here, and I believe that's around 600 yards. And I don't need to be shooting animals past 600 yards with a 10 power scope anyways. Got pretty good stalking skills. I'd rather use those. And so shooting a 308, got a Magpul AICS mag. Just so you know, a lot of these do have to be modified. I had to cut down on the back lips here just a little bit to get it to seat correctly. It's still really tight. And then I have a Christensen Arms AICS mag. This thing fits wonderfully. I actually used this one to pattern the Magpul mag after. Not going to get close enough to the camera here, but the feed lips on the Magpul on this side are higher than on the Christensen on this side. Both 10 round, but having that higher feed lip makes it a little bit harder to seat, but usually you just kind of have to rock it just a hair and it'll get in there. And so today we're shooting 165 grain boat tail soft points from Speer. Had not used them before. They were usually out of stock, and once I bought a box of 180s, I found out why. They're stinking awesome. I love these things. And so given that, we're going to shoot some, let's see here, 42 point, oh, I wrote that one bad. I write all my stuff on here. 42.5s. I think they're all 10 42 point, yeah, 42.5s, 43, 43.5, 44, and 44.5. Yes, I've got 10 of each. I'm not probably going to shoot all of these today. I don't have a distance target. I got some rocks out there. I can see some splash, but they're pretty big rocks, so it's not really going to give me a good indication of the drops and stuff that I'm going for. Downrange, I've got a target with a, I make targets out of construction paper because you can see the holes really well, even with this 10 power scope, and I'll show you on the camera in a bit. But I use different colors for the different grains, and I write what grain of powder charge that I'm shooting. I'm only going to shoot 3 today on this particular target. I might pick out some rocks further out or something later and try to guesstimate some dope on those. So with that, I'm going to put in my hearing protection. I'm using some Surefire hearing protection. I've actually recently gone away from earmuffs because they don't seat well with me, or I can't put my face down on my cheek weld. So these are a little harder to get in, so I may not be using these for hunting season. Hold on. Good grief. Fucking swear. There we go. Got some swirling wind, but hey, 70 yards, it's not really gonna make that much of a difference. Even though this is the lowest charge, I always check for pressure signs, you know, bleeding over on the primers, any swiper marks, anything like that. I got nothing. This thing looks great. I did find out my earplugs aren't in quite enough. There we go. That's a little bit better. And as you can imagine, going from 180 to 165s, it is shooting just a tad high. Brass still looks good. Third shot at this charge. And it won't bore you after this shot with any more shots because shooting is shooting. I don't love watching people shoot. I love shooting. Not too bad. I stacked 2 rounds, literally touching. The other one's just a hair off. So, not upset with that. And with that, I'm gonna go ahead and go through all my reloads here. Then we'll take you down, show you the target, see how everything's looking. And then we'll stretch it out to some distance and have a little fun today. And with that, I will leave you for the next few minutes. All right, so shot the initial reloads of IMR 4064, my 308. I've never shot in my 308 anything lower in grain weight than a 178. I'm a Hornady fan generally. 178 ELDX, 208 AMAXs, 212 ELDXs, things like that. Recently they were out, so I bought the 180 grain Spear boat tail soft points, and they were amazing. Now they're out of those. And then let me grab these. Then I grabbed up these 165s, and these things, man, the recoil's nice. It's pleasant. And so originally I had bought these because, not because just they had them, I had plenty of 180 grains left, but my daughter's going to be hunting this year. She's 12, she's not big, so I wanted something softer shooting. This could definitely be it. I've kind of since changed my mind to a Grendel for antelope and deer. For elk, she's going to have to use this, but I'll tell you what, at the lower charges, I got some decent groups. A couple of the groups weren't awesome. Granted, we are only shooting at 70 yards. I'm just shooting out here in the prone. No big deal, but I wanted to get an idea of pressure and all that. I got no pressure signs on any of these. If I can see it correctly through my scope, my last group of 44.5 looked like a ragged hole. So hey, that's not bad. You know, people are like, oh, my Atlas Action or, you know, Gunworks rifle shoots better than that. Great, you probably spent $10,000. Bought that when it first came out. It's 350 bucks. I upgraded the stock to the AICS compatible stock. Somebody took it off because they put a different stock on, and I bought it for $100 for somebody. I got the Bushnell on a pro deal for $185, so I am into this gun like nothing. It's amazing. So I'm gonna flip us around here and show you, try to show you part of the reason I use these the colored paper for targets is because, make sure I can find my target here. That's why, because I can see the holes really well. So they're not too bad. I'll bring you back out here. And then we're gonna go down and take a look, see what that all looks like. And I know some of you probably thinking, well, why didn't you just walk out in the snow and put your target way out at 100 yards? Because it's not too deep. Well, that's why. I think my foot surgeon's already going to be a little upset with me because I'm going to show up tomorrow with mud in my cast and lawn working materials. So, but this is my shooting area, one of them. So usually we shoot right here into this berm for safety generally. So this is where we do our AR work generally. It's really nice out here, as you can see. If you don't make a lot of noise coming in with your vehicle, oftentimes right over here, you can see some deer when you come in, some elk sometimes, a little more rare on that one. And then let me get around this mud here. Back over this way, it goes pretty far back up in there, and there's a really cool campsite up in there, but back up that way there's some really good spots. And so let me show you what we got going on here. So 42.5 grains, not too bad, it's all right. 43, got 2 in the center. 43.5, I will not be loading those anymore. I actually felt super stable on these, and that was the result. So hard pass on that powder charge. 44, not bad. Nice little ragged hole. And then 45 coming through with the win. That's 3 shots. I got it. That's 75 yards. But you know what? I'll take it. That could still translate into a really good group at 100 or 200 or what have you. And I'm going to be testing that soon enough. But I want to make sure that, you know, at least get out here, get some pressure testing done, and not get snow blind. So, holy cow, it is super bright with that snow. But this is my shooting area. This is my backyard. I say that, it takes me about an hour to get here. And I'll tell you what, it's completely worth the drive. So don't just lock yourself down to a static range. Get out and use the outdoors responsibly. Don't shoot trees, things like that. I mean, I've got a huge backdrop for shooting here, and it's really cool. The benefit, I think, right now of what everything's going on in the world right now is this. It's quiet. I got it, I'm up in the mountains, but it's a popular area, and you can usually hear motorcycles, ATVs, and cars driving. The road in is over here. You can hear them driving. They're on the other side of this hill is another road. Dirt roads that go further back up into the hills, but you hear nothing. I saw 2 cars on the way out here and 2 dirt bikes. And bravo to the dirt bike riders because it was super snowy. The Subaru did well. And so with that, hey, don't let this be a time that, unless it's warranted, especially if you're a person at risk. But if you can get out, especially keep your distancing and get out and enjoy the outdoors. Get out and enjoy shooting still. You don't have to stop. At least not in Colorado. And so with that, be safe, take care of you, take care of your family, be ready, and stay tactical.